thank you for giving me the opportunity to be with you and share this our experience. I would like to have this conversation with you about what we do in Barcelona and our experience in fostering climate action and sustainability culture. We like to call it like this, and I will explain to you what this concept mean, because for us it's very important, the sustainability culture. No, we like to talk about sustainability culture. My name is Helena, and I work for I work in the Office for Climate Action and Sustainability, and I'm in charge of the Sustainable Culture Department, from which we develop all our environmental education services and programs.
And Elena, can I interrupt? So this department is part of the city?
Yes, we are in the City Council. I'm I'm an officer in the City Council of Barcelona.
And how does it work? So there's a city mayor and there's like different departments, and one of them is responsible for climate or like environment in general?
Yes, we are in an area that is called environment and climate action. And in my office, in my department, we take care about we develop all the policies with regards to climate change. And of course, a very important part of it is how we empower people in order to face all these challenges that we have in the city, and to have a proactive action, no? To have a state of mind and values that are aware that we have a big problem, and also that we are part of the solution of these problems that we have as humanity, you know. There's a mayor, there are several departments: social care, culture department, educational department. They are in another department, but we relate a lot. Our department works very cross-cutting with all the departments in the City Council of Barcelona, because we need to work with all of them. So I don't know if you know the city of Barcelona. Maybe you heard of it. It's a Mediterranean city in the south of Europe. So this is where we are, in the south of Europe and in the Mediterranean shore. And our city has 1,600,000 inhabitants, and it's a very dense city. Compared with cities in in America, for instance, we have a small surface. It's just 100 square kilometers. So we have a high density of population in a short space. And sometimes we compare it to the density of population that Japanese cities have, for instance. As you can see here, no? It's a lot of buildings, no? And there isn't much space for green space in our city. We have only 28 square kimeters of green spaces, and most of it is just the mountain you see here. I don't know if you see the pointer here. It says, so this is a natural park. It's very close to the city, but there are some green spots. And one of the big efforts of our city council is to put green surface inside the city, okay? Because this is also an adaptation strategy for climate change. And well, the city of Barcelona is well known for its architecture. Maybe you know about Gaudí, Sagrada Familia, okay? And for the quality of the urban space, which is very highly used. So we have a lot of pressure in urban space because we are very close together, one another, and there are a lot of activities happening in the public space. So this is always a source of conflicts sometimes, but also it's a place where very good things can happen.
Elena, besides Gaudí, I've also heard about Barcelona super blocks, which is
it's a very ambitious plan. You see here these lines, these squares here. This is where this district is where the super blocks are happening, and it's a very interesting project, very ambitious. in which we are giving priority, maximum priority to the pedestrians and putting cars out of the city. And this, of course, is very controversial because, as you know, well, cars are linked with freedom, no, with individual freedom, and many people think that when you are not allowing them to use the car in the city, you are doing a big mistake. No? But if we look at the figures, well, fighting against the car or rationalizing the use of the car in the city is one of the key measures in order to fight climate change and also quality air pollution. No, then it's something that our government has taken very seriously, and it's not very popular sometimes, but it's well, these are the kind of big decisions that need to be made in order to face the big challenges that we have. And this has to do with values, no? Sometimes values that are well established and that marketing are selling constantly, no? These ideas that go against the fight of the climate change, for instance, no? And well, and this must be much worse in the state cities. No? In the European cities, we normally have a very good mobility. I mean, people use a lot the public transportation. It's always can be better, but normally we have a very good use of public transport in the city. But nevertheless, there are still many cars, and we still doing this. We are doing these policies in order to put it out. And well, Barcelona has been committed for very long with sustainability commitments. It was a signatory of the Local Agenda 21 in the early 2000s. So in 2002, we started our first Local Agenda 21, and now we are still having this long-lasting action plans for sustainability. We are now renewing the citizens, we call it the citizens' commitment towards sustainability, and now we are in the phase of renewing it for the third time. So the period would be 2022 till 2032. And also we have a very ambitious climate emergency plan in which there are measures for mitigation, and we want to be a carbon neutral city in 2050, which is very, very ambitious, and cutting emissions at a half for 2030, CO2 emissions. And it has the mitigation strategies, the adaptation strategies, which means that as a Mediterranean city, we are having lack of water. And this is something that we're going to struggle with more and more because of the climate change, because the climate change is already happening. And so the city has already many adaptation strategies, which include water saving and also putting more green surface in the city. And also, this is the second line of action. The third line of action is the climate justice, so that we don't have that vulnerable people in the city are not the ones who suffer the most with the climate change. We have a 24% of population that suffer from energy poverty in the city, and we are also doing some work on that issue because it's really necessary. And also the fourth line of action is the one that I am taking care of, the one that I try to develop, that is the citizens' action for in order to fight climate change in the city. Okay, when I was talking about the sustainability culture, and we like to use this term because we think it's more comprehensive than just environmental education. No? That environmental education it focuses on environment and it focuses on education. Many people think that education is just children in schools, no? Also the policies that we are, or the programs that we are doing in schools. Of course, we are doing a lot of work in schools, but this issue has to interfere with everyone in the city. I mean, everyone should be invited to change their knowledge and their minds and to act coherently. And so therefore we have developed several programs, which include also citizen action for those that are not even aware that climate change is a thing that they should care of. No, and that is, well, the things I'm going to talk to you about in this chat today. And now I was saying that we are renewing our commitment, our citizen commitment towards sustainability, and we are using the donut. You know, I don't know if you know all this philosophy that Kate Raworth from the from UK is developing. It's a paradigm of how can cities or how can humanity can thrive in an inclusive, social and conscious way. And it says that you have to take into account the social foundation. It means to meet everyone's need for basic needs like water, food, energy, but also political voice, welfare, or social equity, and having very in mind the ecological ceiling. So this means the ecological limits of the planet that we are overshooting. No, like here you have all these effects, no? Climate change, ocean acidification, etc. And now we're doing a portrait of the city of Barcelona with this methodology. And well, we have the first results. And of course, well, there are many things in which we have to improve. And one of them, of course, is climate change, but also the use of nitrogen and phosphorus, because of it's mainly related with the food that we are eating, no? And how healthy it is and how it's produced, no? So these are things that maybe we haven't focused so much, and now that we will have to tackle in the years to come. And I was here. You see, I don't know if you see it because it's very small. But our citizen commitment towards sustainability is a 10-year plan, which was done under a very high participatory process. And now we are doing all this participatory process in order to renew it. And it goes.
Helena, I wonder how.
Yes.
What was the participatory process behind development of this 10 items in the commitment, citizens' commitment?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have a network of committed agents in the city that are schools, but also small companies, big companies, universities, associations, civical associations, cultural associations, trades. And now we are accounting for 1,900 organizations that are in this network, which we call More Sustainable City Network. And with them, we did all this process. So we had like several sessions in which the indicators that we are following, because we have a set of indicators for the city, and we evaluate every year, how the city is going with all these indicators. And so we did several sessions with them. We also use a platform called Decidim Barcelona, which is a platform for deliberative processes in which they can amend and correct or put ideas. And then we had a convention, we call it. It's a one day in which we invite all these people to come, all the people that has participated, and then with facilitation process, we end with the final text, and then the city council adopts it in the government.
Mm-hmm. I have a quick question, Helena. So what is the sense of people's belief that climate change is happening? That used to be, or that still is an issue for a lot of places, that people don't believe it's happening.
Well, I mean, I think that not many people looks at the at the news or follows the scientific debates on climate change, because there's 99.9% of scientifics that say that climate change is happening and that it's a reality. And now, I mean, this year we have had the hottest summer, and it's November and we still have 20 degrees, you know. So it's, I think that there has been a lot of misunderstanding and fake news, especially like in 10 years time, no? And now maybe this is, but we still have some politicians in Madrid, for instance, that last week they were saying that climate change was an invention, you know, and this is people with political responsibilities, and these people create a lot of confusion about it. And so what we do environmental education, or we try to, you know, develop our programs, we always say that there is certain, it's 100% certain that this is happening, and that we are in the worst case scenario, because we are not decreasing our consumption, we are not decreasing our emissions, our CO2 emissions. All in all, I mean, there are places in which there is this decrease, but not in Europe, not in America, not in Australia, not in the big continents in which this is happening. And so that we have to be prepared, because the way in which we have lived will change, and it's somehow frightening. And when we talk about children about it, this is something that I was wondering also if you had any experience on how to transmit the urgency to act and to change, with the eco hope that we still are in time to solve these problems. No, this is something that I always think about that, no? Because on one side, people say no, but we start. And I believe that we are still in time to do action, no? And it's not only me who says, but there's also the scientifics who are saying it. In 8 years' time, we have to do the work that we haven't done in 20 years. So sometimes it makes me wonder if we really are going to be able to do it. But I believe that we still have the option to, we still have the opportunity to change. And that's what we try to transmit when we do our programs in Barcelona, no? That it's urgent to act. That's the conclusion. Okay, then we have done a plan, a strategic plan, that is called Let's Change for Climate.
Yeah, Helena, I just wanted to mention that we only have 7 minutes for your part.
Yeah,
so maybe
okay.
We can briefly go through your slides, some of the main ideas from each slide,
okay.
And then we'll have a conversation.
Then I will go directly to our examples, so you can have you can grasp a little bit what we do. I said that we are working with schools. It's one of there are now 363 schools working with an environmental plan in Barcelona. This is more than half of all the schools of Barcelona. This means that it's a plan that is integrated in the DNA of the center. It's not just one teacher or one subject dealing with environment, but the whole center, the whole community, the educational community of the center is committed to it, and we give resources with the training. This, what you see here, is our novel room in Barcelona. Every year we do a gathering there with all the schools, or some of them, with the new ones, in order to present the program. And we have what we call micro networks of work that are dedicated to one issue. For instance, this here is waste prevention. They have to do in the center their waste prevention plan. Here they are measuring the quality of the air or the noise. Here they are doing compost. They do their own compost, and they have their vegetable gardens in many schools of the city. And here they have a reusable wrap for the sandwich, no, in order to prevent waste. And here they have the occasion or the opportunity for exchange among themselves. So the peer-to-peer, we believe a lot in peer-to-peer education as well, no? So they can share among them. We have some technical staff and trying also to help them develop their own plans. Also, we work with these sustainable organizations, the more sustainable organizations that I was mentioning them before, 1,900 organizations. In this kind, we have from a small company, a grocery store, a university, or a school. I mean, they are all members of it. They sign the commitment, and we help them to develop their own plan. And also here, what you see here is a challenge that we did, that it was the challenge of drinking without plastic. No? And so everyone could join the challenge. And all in all, there were 170 organizations that did it. And there were, for instance, the Zoo of Barcelona, they did the reusable glass. And in all the facility of the Zoo of Barcelona, you cannot have one disposable glass. You have to use those, for instance, or in restaurants, no? Or in schools when they go and have picnics, no? Because they have staff, they do an excursion or a day out, they are not allowed to put plastic bottles. So they ask the families to put reusable drinking bottles, for instance.
Helena, can I just interrupt and ask a question? Does City Council City Council require all schools develop sustainability plans? You said that half schools already joined this, but there's another half. Are they joining? Is there a plan to involve them, or they resist, or the plan, or the city cannot require?
No, we are not obliging them. We are always attracting them to our programs, but the commitment, we believe that it has to be proactive.
Or proactive, yeah, from within.
Yeah,
okay.
Because if they see it as something that it's compulsory, and then they are not engaged in the same way. What we are doing now is to make it a little bit more flexible, because we know that there are schools that are not in our program that are active, and we want to include them in somehow. So in the new phase of the commitment, we are putting like two speeds. No, one speed for those who are really committed, and one that it's more light, no, for so to say. And for instance, we offer visits to facilities, to environmental facilities, and they can do it in one day. They go and see like the waste treatment plant. We prepare one material for the teacher to prepare it. They do it, and then they come back. They just done that. But
Helena, just another question, since we're running out of time. I'd like to know, do you exchange ideas with other cities? Do other cities have such impressive networks, sustainability networks in schools?
We don't know of a city that has a network like ours, that has been maintained like for 20 years, and that is increasing every year. There are, and we know that in Oslo there's a foundation working with companies. In Copenhagen there are very advanced cities that have some kinds of engagement with the public, but not as long lasting as we do.
That's amazing. So I'm also aware of sustainability department within the Department of Education in New York City. They work with 1,800 schools, and I collaborate with them on some projects. So maybe, and we're thinking about some exchange of ideas and webinar, maybe in February or like early spring. Maybe we can collaborate with you and have like exchange between your school system and New York City school system. Both of them are trying to implement sustainability plans in schools.
Fantastic. Yeah, I'm going to count on that. Yes. And now that you're mentioning New York, you see this map here. It's also part of the, it was something that people ask us asked us to do, and it's the sustainable map of Barcelona. So here you can, and it's based on the open green map that New York created like a long time ago. And we develop our own, and it's also all the signatories, for instance, of the commitment are in the plan, and all the initiatives that have a social environmental relevance are in this map, and it's, you can consult it, and it's online. And well, okay, and to end, I would like to also to say that we have a network of environmental education centers. We started 10 years ago with 4 centers, and now we have 16 centers in Barcelona. There are 10 districts in Barcelona, and our goal was to have one educational center, which is like a cultural center, which has a program of sustainability. So for instance, how to reduce waste at home, how can you put solar panels in your community, how can you engage with communitary composting. There are some parts in the city in which we have these composting centers, and you can participate. Also here you see.
Can I ask,
yes?
sorry, real quick, are those centers operated by the city, or are they independent? Yes. They're operated by the city.
They are operated by the city, but sometimes we have what we call a civic contract. So there's an association, a civical association that can run it if it meets certain requirements.
Okay. Thank you.
And there's also one that it's run by a cooperative. This here, BC Hub, is dealing with bicycles. And the ones that are hired to do it are a cooperative.
Okay. Thank you.
And from these centers, we try that all the program that we are offering, it's linked with what is happening in the community, in the district, in the neighborhood, which is close. This means that, for instance, we organize this. This is cleaning of Montjuic, which is a mountain here, no? And we do a communitary cleaning. This here, we had a turtle that was nesting in our beaches, and that was because of climate change as well, because they never did it in our coast. And we also did some volunteers. We did training for volunteers that wanted to look after the nest, because they, they have to be, no? So we did it from one of these centers as well. And this here, when you come to Barcelona, I will show it to you. It's our reference center. It's called the Sun Fabric, because, well, it's a modernist building. It's where our offices are. It's really nice. It has been refurbished with environmental criteria. And from here is where we expand. This is like the central office for all the network. Okay. There were here some thoughts that I wanted to share with you. And for me, it's very important that all environmental education is related with action. So it has to be like the first step to trigger action in the people, both individually or collectively, no? Communitary action in order to transform. No? It's very important for me also to connect individual action to global challenges, because we did a survey in Barcelona, and 94% of the people thought that climate change was an issue, was an important issue that they should care of. 76% thought that the climate change had implications in their lives, but then when it comes to action, there's a gap. No, so people don't make the connection between their daily life and the global impacts of daily life. And that is something that when we do these kind of actions, we really focus on that, because otherwise you think that somebody else should act and not yourself. So this involvement is very important. And last but not least, to have a network of committed agents or actors, it's very important because they multiply the effect of the policies that we are doing. Because when they do it, they also convince the people they connect to that this should be done.